Let's read for 24 hours. So I'm pretty sure the first booktube video I ever watched was a 24-hour readathon, and I am obsessed with them. I love them. I've always wanted to do one, but I'm a little bit nervous. I think how I'm going to combat this is I'm going to do the timer method instead of like trying to read for 24 hours straight, because there's no way I can do that. I'm 32 and I need my sleep. Like, it's not an option at this point. So yeah, I'm going to do the timer method. So I'm going to start a timer, like a 24-hour timer, and then whenever I am not reading, I will stop the timer. And we're just going to go until I hit 24 hours, and I'm going to see how many books I can read. My goal is 3 books. I want to get through 3 books. If I get through more than that, fantastic. But my goal is 3. So I'm just going to vibe. Like, I'm just going to mood read. I'm currently reading Done and Dusted. I'm listening to this on Spotify because I'm a Spotify premium member, and you get to listen to like 15 hours of audiobooks every month, so it's pretty cool. I had some hours left over from last month, so I'm just letting those roll out while I wait for like my new hours to show up. So I'm about halfway through the book, and so that is what I am currently reading, and then after that I'm just gonna vibe. It's just gonna be like a mood reading situation. So here we go, let's start. Okay, so technically it will only let me do 23 hours and 59 minutes, but I'm close enough, so here we go. So I'm literally still in my pajamas, and yesterday I actually, this is embarrassing, but I read for like an hour and a half. That's all the reading I got done yesterday. I had an hour left on my Spotify hours before I got thrown in Spotify jail, but I think Spotify lets you like listen to the end of the chapter, like it lets you finish the chapter. I don't know, at least that's what it seems like it's been doing with me with the past couple books I've been reading. So I was able to read for an hour and a half, and I'm pretty far into Done and Dusted. I think I've got like 7 chapters left, and it's like an hour, 2 hours, I think, an hour and some change, like a lot of change. But so I'm gonna finish that today. That's the plan. Then I have been reading also on my Kindle. I'm about 30% of the way through this book. This is Bride of the Shadow King, and it's free on Kindle Unlimited. I saw someone else reading this, and they seemed to really like it, so I just, you know, decided to pick it up and try it. It seemed like it was up my alley, like a arranged marriage trope. But basically, our female main character is a princess of a human kingdom. In this world, like, humans and fae are at war. They like live together in the same world, but they're at war with each other. And so to strengthen an alliance with the trolls, the princess's dad arranges a marriage between the princess's younger sister and the troll king, which is our male main character. The princess that is our female main character has been like shunned from her family for something she did years ago, and she's just been called back to the castle basically for this marriage to kind of like, you know, convince her younger sister to give the troll king a chance, because in this world, like, the humans have a big prejudice against the fae and vice versa. Like, you know, the species don't really mix and stuff, so it's her job to kind of like be the peacemaker here. But as you can see from the cover, feelings ensue between the troll king and the oldest sister. He's supposed to marry the younger sister. So I believe this might turn into like a love triangle. It's definitely like giving forbidden romance, and I have been really enjoying it so far. I'm about 30% of the way through it according to my Kindle, so I will be picking that up at some point today. However, I think like right after I finish Done and Dusted, I'm going to hop into Heartless Hunter. This is the Owl Crate special edition, and I want to read it not only because it is gorgeous, but because the storyline really intrigues me. So this is set in like, I think the Victorian times or like the Regency times. So I love that time period, and it's about a witch who is living in a world where it is like illegal to be a witch, and she is kind of a vigilante witch. I think she's like rescuing witches who've been captured, and our male main character is actually a witch hunter, and so they meet each other, and I think they know who each of them are. I don't know how to say that, but I think she knows that he's a witch hunter, he knows that she's a witch, and they're like not trying to let on that they know, and they're trying to like entrap each other, but feelings get in the way is what this is giving to me. And I just really want to read it. I'm like intrigued by the storyline. Ever since like I first heard someone talk about it, I said, you know, that I wanted to read it to myself. This is kind of like right up my alley, so I am gonna hop into this right after I finish Done and Dusted. Alright, so it's literally hours later. I just finished Done and Dusted, and this is how much time we have left in the 24 hours. We've got a little over 19 hours. So I have not been spending all this time just reading Done and Dusted. I have started Heartless Hunter, and I love it so far. So I love how this just kind of hops right into the action. I love how the writing style isn't super flowery, and I love flowery writing. I like to think of myself as a flowery writer, but there's something about just the straightforward way that she's telling the story that I'm kind of vibing with. I think especially like in fantasy, things can get like really confusing, so sometimes the simpler the better. And I'm liking the magic system so far. I'm not super far in. I am about 32 pages in. I'm on chapter 6, but I'm loving all the characters so far. Our main character, Rune, I'm already obsessed with her. I can tell like this is going to be like true enemies to lovers, and I'm all the way here for it. Enemies to lovers just hits different in fantasy, and yeah, I can't wait to keep reading it. I'm already hooked. But back to Done and Dusted, I really enjoyed the story. It was a cute little small town cowboy romance. It's my first cowboy romance, and I liked it, so maybe I'll check out more of those. I already have like Flawless by Elsie Silver on my shelf, and I'm planning on reading that this month or next month. But yeah, so I would give Done and Dusted a solid 3 stars. It's a very, very good book. Would highly recommend it if you like rom-coms, cowboy romance. There was a little spice, and it was very spicy like what we got, but it's nothing like super out there or overwhelming. So if you're worried about that, it's you know, it's pretty tame. But yeah, I am going to read a little bit more tonight. I didn't pick up Bride of the Shadow King today, and I don't know if I will. I'm just like really into Heartless Hunter, so maybe if this gets a little slow or something, I will switch to Bride of the Shadow King. But I'm definitely gonna pick that back up tomorrow because I'm kind of in the thick of it with that story, and I want to see how it turns out. Alright guys, it is the next day. It's going on 11 o'clock. We ended off yesterday with 18 hours and 16 minutes left. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it was. I ended up getting pretty far yesterday in Heartless Hunter. I read like, well, not pretty far from me, okay? I read 100 pages. So that brings us to, out of our 3-book goal, We have 1 book down, 2 books to go, and 18 hours to read those books in. So I'm 100 pages in, really enjoying this book so far, really, really loving the story. I love how fast it is. It goes, like, it's super easy to read. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like really, I don't know, it's like an easy writing, and I don't feel like I'm getting like lost and having to go back and reread. So maybe that's why it's like, maybe that's why it's going so quick for me. But I'm making annotations. I'm really enjoying the story. I am to the point where the 2 main characters have met. The enemies to lovers is enemies to loversing. They've both got their own separate like missions going on, and I'm just interested to see how this is gonna coincide, because I don't see how they can like ever fall in love with what they've got going on. Like, it's real hardcore. They have real reasons to hate each other. Okay. So yeah, that is that. I'm gonna continue that today because, like I said, I'm really loving the story. I do want to hop back into Bride of the Shadow King today. I want to get to the 50% mark. I think we can do it. Wish me luck with that. And then while I'm getting ready, since I finished my audiobook that I was listening to, I'm going to listen to The Housemaid's Secret. I have it on Audible, and so I'm gonna go ahead and listen to that like while I'm getting ready, while I'm on the treadmill tonight, you know, just anytime that I have like something I'm doing. I'm gonna listen to The Housemaid's Secret. So I have it here and I have it on my phone, so I'm about to hit play on this on my iPad and start the timer up while I do my hair and my makeup for church. Okay, I was gonna use water, my leave-in conditioner to kind of like lay the front of my hair down and put this headband around it, but I don't think it looks bad. Like, it looks okay. It looks good. I think I can get away with it. But yeah, so I have finished my makeup and my hair, and I'm on chapter 1. I'm like halfway through chapter 1. There was a prologue situation going on, and I didn't get too far down on the timer. We're on 18 hours and 4 minutes, so, but I think this is all I've got time to do for now because I'm running a little bit late. So I will see you guys when I get back from church. This is my dress, in case you were curious, and I'm going to put on like just some plain black sandal heels. Okay, so I'm back from church. I've been back a while. I've just kind of been reading ever since. We've got about 16 hours left on the timer. I'm going to at least read for another hour today because I want to get it down to 15. That was just like my goal this morning. Speaking of goals, I am shifting mine a little bit because I am, not that I'm not enjoying what I'm reading, I really, really am, but the chapters in Bride of the Shadow King are super duper long, and so I am gonna have to just pace myself with that one. I'm hoping I can finish it in this vlog. It's kind of the reason why I wanted to do a 24-hour readathon in the first place, was to like finish that book and jumpstart like my reading for July, because I'm trying to push myself to read more, just as a personal goal, and plus like as a writer, reading for research, seeing how like stories are structured and how different authors do different things. Like, for example, in Heartless Hunter, she does this thing where at the beginning of some of the chapters she'll like use like, I don't know, like a little space at the top of the chapter to kind of world build a little bit with regards to like the magic system. So like there's different levels of spells for the witches, and so she'll kind of explain it there instead of using like chapter time to explain it, and it kind of just makes it less info dumpy, and I really, really like that. And I think I'm going to do that in my series that I'm writing with like lore, with the deities in my world. So yeah, that's an example of like how I use my reading to make me a better writer. But anyways, for Bride of the Shadow King, my new goal is to get 40% of the way through the book. I'm gonna try to get to chapter 15. Well, get done with chapter 15. That will have meant that I've read 6 chapters of that book today. And then I wanted to read 100 pages in Heartless Hunter. And I'm still wanting to read 100 pages in Heartless Hunter. That's about 6 chapters from where I am now. And I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with that. Still plan to listen to The Housemaid's Secret on the treadmill when I go to the gym tonight. That's pretty much it for this update. I'm just gonna keep reading. All right, so 2 goals reached. Goal number 1, I just finished chapter 15 of Bride of the Shadow King, and I did hit the 40% mark. If you've read that book, you know like the ending of chapter 15 is crazy, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I did hit the 15-hour mark. We actually have 14 hours and 50 minutes left. I am going to take the timer with me when I go to the gym. So like while I'm on the treadmill listening to The Housemaid, at The Housemaid's Secret, the timer will be going while I'm listening, and I'm going to start the timer back up here in just a second because I'm going to go back to reading Heartless Hunter. Alright guys, so a bit of an update. First of all, ignore my clock because it's wrong. That's part of this update. We had like a tornado, a couple of tornadoes actually, come through my town yesterday, and so we lost power, the whole shebang, and it was just a mess. So needless to say, did not film anything for this challenge yesterday. I was just kind of like in survival mode, trying to save my phone's battery. Thankfully, as you can see, we have electricity back now. But yeah, I basically didn't do anything for this challenge yesterday, but the night before last, I read quite a bit, and I ended up ending off with 13 hours and 38 minutes and 29 seconds to be exact left on the timer. So this video has been going on forever. Not that I mind, because it's just what I normally do. I just sit and read, but like actually trying to hit like 24 hours of reading, it's harder than I thought it was going to be. So I am going to hopefully finish this video. Definitely not going to finish it today, but hopefully I can finish this video tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely the next day, because I need to get this video put together, edited, and uploaded. So plans for the day. We still have 1 book done and dusted. 1 book out of our 3-book goal. I want to get to 75% of the way through Heartless Hunter. I am about 50% of the way through right now, so I think that's easily doable. The book like reads really fast, like I've been saying. And I want to listen to more of The Housemaid, because where I left off while I was working out, it was like on a really good part. So I'm not very far into it at all, but I want to like get farther into it. So I'm mainly going to be focusing on Heartless Hunter and The Housemaid today. Not so much Bride of the Shadow King. I do like the book. I know it seems like I don't like the book, but Frida McFadden's writing like hooks me every time, and then like I'm really into Heartless Hunter right now. But I do like Bride of the Shadow King. I am gonna finish it this month. It might not be in this video, but I'm definitely gonna finish it this month. And it's actually a trilogy, which I'm excited about. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started so that we can make the most of our reading for the day. Alright, you guys, here is where we are. So according to Audible, I have about 2 hours and some change left on the Housemaid's Secret, and we have 7 hours and 41 minutes left on the timer. And then in Heartless Hunter, I have about 100 pages, 120 pages left. So I feel confident that I will finish both of these books in this 24-hour challenge. And then I'm gonna go back to Bride of the Shadow King. I haven't read any more of it, so I still have quite a bit left to go in that one. So that's where we are. I'm just going to keep reading, and then I will come back when I finish a book to update you on how much time we have left and on my thoughts on the book, whichever one I finish. Okay, you guys, it is Thursday, and I have decided this challenge is ending today, no matter what. It's been going on for forever, and I had originally planned to post this video on Friday. So yeah, hopefully I can still get everything edited together in time and post it tomorrow. But yeah, we've got about 5 hours left on the timer. I did fall asleep while the timer was going on, so I had to reset it to like 6 hours, 6.5 hours, or yeah, so that's what I reset it to yesterday, and then I read until we got down to 5 hours. I did finish The Housemaid's Secret last night on the treadmill, and it was classic Frida McFadden. I can say that after reading her books for 1 year. Like, this past year is when I started reading her books, but I feel like I've got like her thriller style down at this point. It's a lot of thrillers are just kind of all about the twists and the turns, and her books definitely do that. They have twists and turns, but I feel like you get to know the main character, but at the same time I feel like you get a good grasp on like the main character, and also a good grasp on like the main antagonist, which is really different from what I've experienced so far with reading thrillers. So like Millie, our main character in this, we feel really close to her, we root for her, we want, you know, everything to work out for her, and I definitely felt that like the twists and like the situations that she found herself in were crazy. And then like this other character came out of left field, but it wasn't really out of left field, I just didn't expect it, and so that was fun. That really kept me interesting. This is why when I start a thriller, like I have to finish it. It kind of like consumes me. It takes over all of my reading headspace, because like, I don't know, there's just something about thrillers, they just hook you, and I think like that's a rare talent. Like not every writer can do that, can write a thriller, a good one anyway. And then I really did not, like up until the very end, like the last few lines, she mentioned something like much earlier in the book that I kind of like forgot about. It was something, oh, by the way, this particular character struggles with this thing or has this thing, and I'm just like, okay, like why do we care? Because the character isn't like a big deal. Like it's not a main character, but the situation like came back into play like at the very end of the book, and it kind of gives something away. It ties something together that was a much bigger plot point, and I was like, that is genius. So needless to say, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. Would highly recommend it. Can't wait to read book 3 in the Housemaids trilogy. And my main focus today is finishing Heartless Hunter, so that brings us up to 2 books done out of my 3-book goal. And Heartless Hunter will be my 3rd book in the 3-book goal. I don't think that I can finish Bride of the Shadow King in this vlog, unfortunately, since that's the reason why I started this anyway. But I did make really good progress in it, and whatever time I have left after finishing Heartless Hunter, because I don't have very much, I have like less than 100 pages, I will read Bride of the Shadow King. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I had a theory and I was right. So I just finished Heartless Hunter, and it was an easy 5 stars. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there's this little background mystery going on. Starts about halfway through the book, and I had a theory about the answer, I guess, to this question, or the solution to this problem, and I was right. And I hate that I was right, because it just was heartbreaking. And then this is just a really good book. It plays with so many of your emotions, such great quotes, such fantastic storytelling, such a beautiful setting, such wonderful characters. And it is part of a series, which I did not know. So it's the first of a series, so there's more to come, and I'm so excited to see more of this world and more from this author. So I have about a little bit under 2 hours left on the timer right now, and I'm going to spend that reading Bride of the Shadow King.